Welcome to my channel, Mauer Woodworking. So in this video, I detailed the entire process of building this fairly large custom wall unit for my customer. So it's not only from the initial stages of actually acquiring the material, but going through the entire building process of building it and then doing the installation, which took 2 full days, and I had some help in doing that. This is by far the largest project I've ever worked on, but overall, the project went really well. Installation was almost flawless. I mean, that generally doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, I'll take it. So hopefully you'll enjoy the video and give you a better insight into what's actually involved with building something that's custom. And for those of you that are actually woodworkers, if you see some things that I could have done differently or some different methods, I'd appreciate that if you just add that into the comments. That I'm always open for new ideas and always learning how to do things better and more efficiently. So let's begin. So this is the design we ended up with. The overall height of the wall unit is 8 feet high. The width is 6 feet, so there's two of them. There's one on the right is 6 feet. The other one on the other side is also 6 feet. The base cabinet is 22 inches deep and with a height of 28 inches. And the cabinet top protrudes out from the wall 24 inches and is an inch and a half thick. Regarding the shelves are 15 inches deep, and under each shelf I have mounted LED lights. So I'm in my garage, and this is where I actually break down the sheet goods. So these are 4x8 sheets that I bought at this Lowe's, and I think I have a total of 8 in this round, and I had to go buy another 5. So what I'm checking is my spec sheet and just basically doing oversized cuts, but it makes it a lot more manageable for me to carry this down into the basement where my shop is. To carry down, in this case, I think there's going to be about 13 or 14 sheets. It's not manageable for me, so that's why I use my garage. And as here is basically everything's been marked and categorized, and then I can obviously easily take this down the stairs. So I moved everything down in the basement. This is a staging area right outside my shop. This does not include any of the poplar that I need to purchase later on. So now what I'm doing is actually going through all the exact measurements. And what I do on each of these pieces, I've gotten these done right here. So obviously measure what I need here. In this case, I need 21 3/8 across. Same thing here, and then 25 3/8 off, and then this I got to cut off exactly. This will be perfectly square. And the way I verify that is I measure from the upper corner down to the bottom corner, and the same thing from here to there. If both numbers are the same, then you're perfectly square, and everything else should be fine. This is just a time lapse how I square everything up, get the measurements, compare it to the spec sheet, and then label it appropriately. And I got to do that for all the pieces. So for the smaller pieces, I can manage cutting the dados along the, using my table saw. Here for the larger pieces, I got my friend who's going to help me with the install, Rick. As you can see, he's holding down on the side as I push the larger panels along. So for this, the dado blades work really good on a table saw, but I'll switch over using the router. As you can see right here, marking everything out. And what this allows me to do, I can manage and control not only horizontally but also the vertical sections that need to be cut out, and probably could do the horizontal ones here on the table saw, but I don't have a slider on my table saw. Okay, what I'm doing right here is just doing a dry run of one of the upper section of the wall unit. Obviously nothing's glued together or nailed. I'm just going to make sure everything fits. So basically what we're talking about, let's see, I'll bring up the photo here. See where my finger's pointing right now? This is the LR section, this right here. And let me see, go up here and light it. So now we're looking inside of it. So obviously I gotta get the measurements of the exact setup so I can mark this to do these dividers. One here, a divider here, and then this divider goes all the way across to here. Obviously blocks off this section here. All right, I just want to take a quick moment here. So what I'm doing is I'm squaring up everything for the upper sections of the shelving unit. When I cut the channels out for the LED lighting underneath the shelf, obviously I want to make sure that's perfectly square. And in order to do that, I created a very simple template, literally. So I'll set that in there and I'll just run across the back end with a pencil mark, and I'll know exactly where the line is going to be. So when I get ready to cut it, my table saw, which is all set up with the dado set and the depth that I need to cut it, this will go very quickly. So now that I have each of the shelves marked where I need to cut out the channel for the LED lights, I'm able to basically run through this fairly quickly. I'm going to try to do this freehand. So these are the channels for the LED lighting, and then there's a cover plate that diffuses the light as it shows projects down. One end butts up to one side and then comes out on the right side over here. Let me swing around here. None of this is glued together. Let me give you an example. Here's a good example. So the wiring will come out here, go out to the side, and then I'll have the control unit up on top. And as you can see, I'm done for each one. So for this case here, I actually have the track going all the way through so I can feed the LED lights straight across and then have the wiring come out on this end. Okay, this is the last one of the upper section, the wall display unit, the other three in the other room. I wanted to film the process, what I go through, gluing everything up. I want to make a point, so what ends up happening is these will snap in there. I will have glue in these grooves here. Then I use brad nails, and then I'll follow through with several 1 1/4 inch screws. So when that dries, that structure will be solid and that ain't gonna go nowhere. And you'll see all the clamps that I use to secure everything and make sure everything is square. So here I'm sanding all the surfaces with 220. This particular poplar is pretty smooth, but I just want to hit it at least once with the 220 grit. Here I'm doing a time lapse where I'm doing the glue up process. This had to go fairly quick, but here I use a lot of the clamps to hold everything secure, but I make sure that everything is square, and then I let it sit for 24 hours before I proceed on to building the next one. So now comes the caulking, so all the crevices, I got to run caulk and just cleaned it up. So this was a bit tedious, but a necessary part of the process before I could even start the painting. What I got here in my hand, This is not the wood I'm using, this is black walnut, but I wanted to show how you hide the imperfections here. Obviously is with poplar, then I'll cut strips like here, and then also you can see that strips over the side here, so it gives a really nice finish. This will be a little bit thinner, but it'll overlap just a little bit. So it's got a main support here up in front, and for each one of these sections here, all this is basically going to be done with poplar, which I have to cut up pieces. Like I said, this is just the upper section, the two components, and this will be for the right side. This is actually for the left side. And then on the outside here, these will be a little bit wider. Obviously, this is not the piece, but be about 2 1/4. So this will go, if this is the left side, this will go against the wall. And on this side over here, this is where the fireplace, where the stones are. So this is going to be a little bit wider than the center piece, but I think it'll give us some nice definition. So I'm running strips of the poplar through my drum sander. These are the pieces that I'll be cutting. They'll be part of the facade for the front section I just talked about. So it's just a whole bunch of these pieces. I gotta get them all the same thickness, and then I can cut it to size. All right, I'm going to do that freehand. So I just wanted to show the strips of poplar that I said in the previous video that I was going to do. So this is what it looked like. Obviously, this is the poplar plywood basically, and I took this side off. This goes against the wall. But anyway, so I basically cut all these for all the sections, and you can see it's a nice pattern, and it gives it a nice clean look. So every section here is actually round over with 1/8 inch round over. And then underneath here, so up on top it is completely flush, but underneath here I have just a little lip in there that actually, it looks really nice that way. So if we go towards the center here, let me zoom out here. Okay, a little bit better. So this is the centerpiece that ties the two together. I have not glued or brad nailed these because I've got to be able to take this whole unit apart and actually deliver it on site. So, but all this is glued and with brad nails, so I could do that in advance. And something, now this is the opposite side here. So this here, obviously I got to cut this. I don't know the exact measurement, so we actually have to do that on site. Cut this exactly on there. So this will come off, but all the other stuff is secure. So maybe I can do it this way for a better view. So here I'm feeding the pieces of poplar through my planer, and to get it down to the 3/4 inch size that I need. When you purchase it, it's almost about an inch, but it's actually rough lumber, so when I buy it from the mill, that's the way you get it. And so over here I'm actually feeding through these large pieces, actually for the top on the cabinet portion of it. So I'll be gluing 2 of these together. I'll show you later on how that's done. But basically I had to feed these through. They're almost I think like 7 feet long. Now moving on to the building the door panels. I met with a customer the other day. First time she's actually on site, just to show her the progress. It's one thing to send a video and talk to her, but it's another thing to actually have the customer come on site and actually see how the progress is going. And happily to report that she's very thrilled, and that's a little nerve-wracking sometimes. You never know how these things are going to go. And also we determined the which type of crown molding. So we narrowed that down. She went with the much wider one, which I was hoping she was going to. I think it's just going to look a lot nicer. But anyways, moving on to the door panels. So I'm basically gonna these are 2.5 inch width, about 3/4 thick, And these are the rails and the stiles that I'll be cutting to length. Initially, I'm going to do 24-inch cuts, so they're all the same. And then for the smaller ones, 15 inches. I'll be making it a little bit shorter, but I basically want them all the same. And as far as the panel itself, I'm using MDF, which most people end up using. I did not use a 1/4 inch. I went with 3/8, so it's a little bit thicker. So it's going to be really solid. And then I'll have to afterwards. You'll see it in the video. I'll cut a groove down through each of these things, and this is where basically this will snap into these panels, glue it, and then that'll hold it secure. So in this time lapse, this is where I'm actually cutting out those grooves. This is where the panels will slide into. So basically you're going to tie the stiles and the rails together, obviously the panel in the middle. And here I'm just speeding up the process here. And as you can see, I'm actually not gluing it, just putting them together temporarily and just going through measuring. So I get that, I think it was 15 1/4 inch for the width for the doors. All right, now moving on to assembling the door panels. So everything's been cut to the exact width and length that I need for the unit. As you can hopefully see, got a 3/8 groove cut in all the way around. That's where the panel's going to slide in. You'll see that in a second. And then you got rails and stiles here. I have one that's a little thicker because I wanted the thicker end to show more of a definition with the panel. So I think it just looks nice. And so basically everything should fit together. There is some tweaking that I have to do. I got to make sure that they're all going the right way. Just to make sure everything fits. So as you can see, this is really tight. So I'm going to have to shave some off. And of course, the one that I do the demo is the one that's probably the worst one. So that snapped in really well. And there we go. So let me put that aside. Let's see if I can get another one here. See if oh, there. Okay, much better. So it almost fits. This one's a little tight. So I just got to go through and shave it off a little bit. Once I get it completely squared, then I'm going to slide the panel inside of it, and then set it aside, and then get that ready for glue up. I'm switching over to working on the cabinet top. So what I got here is basically a domino joiner, and you use this to tie together two pieces of wood. In this case, it's two 12-inch pieces of poplar, and I'll go through the gluing process shortly here. All right, this is getting ready for the glue up. So basically, I got my clamps on the bottom. I use this cut-rate paper so it doesn't stick to the bar here, the glue. So it's just easier. I can just then throw it away. But anyways, you'll see in a second. But I basically put these in here with glue, lay it down, clamp it together, tighten up the bottom, and then I got some other clamps on the side to put it across the top, and then just let it dry for 24 hours. And do the exact same process for the other one. Here I'm getting ready to glue up the two pieces of poplar, inserting the dominoes, filling in the holes in the actual dominoes with glue, and then pressing it together with the clamps. When this gets together, you won't be able to see a seam in this board. So you went from two 12 inches to a 24-inch top. The dominoes don't provide any strength. All they do is reinforce the alignment between the boards, and that's a great thing about using dominoes in this case. So now I'm sanding the tops for the cabinet, and here I'm using a number of different grits, and I start out at probably 120, I think it was, and then 150, 180, and then finishing off with 220 to get that smooth. All right, I'm getting ready to apply the primer on the two tops that'll be on the cabinets. What you see here on the sides, actually the upper section, which you just tilt to the side that I'm using for priming. What you'll notice is this primer is actually black. Never used it before, but they said this is really good with poplar wood, because poplar has you can see a lot of the grains and different color variations, and sometimes the white doesn't cover it. So you put this on, it's just jet black. They said just trust them that it will work out really well. I will be applying 2 coats of the white paint. I did not have to apply it to the cabinet structure because they already pre-coated already with a primer. So that's why I bought that poplar plywood. It's already pre-coated. But for the raw poplar, they suggested it's a good, oh, I did the backside. This is already dry. As you can see, it's jet black. So I didn't forget, I'm not painting things black. They will be they will be white. So I'm gonna do a time lapse, and you'll actually see how that comes out. Okay, I'm gonna just do a walkthrough. This is one of the cabinet tops. It's got 1 coat of primer and 2 coats of paint, satin paint, white obviously. Just some of the trim, more trim. This is the other cabinet top, and the doors are all, where are they? Oh, here, over here. So these are the panels over here. So tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert them, one in each one of the doors there. And as you can see, I got that drilled out for the hinges. So that also has 1 coat primer, 2 coats of paint. I think I'm going to need, oh, here's a few more over here. Got all over my basement. I'm going to have to do another coat, except for these. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spray these. So I'll sand it down smooth and then spray the doors. That gives it a really, really nice finish. Also did, oh, this is the front panel that'll go over here. So this is all set to go. And, oh, the crown molding up there. All right, we're getting there. So here I'm basically gluing up the doors. I'm obviously inserting the panel. I ran a bead of glue inside the grooves to secure it, and obviously squaring everything off. So, and then clamping it for 24 hours for it to completely dry. So obviously did this for all 8 of the doors. All right, preparing to get ready to spray the final coat on the doors. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just literally filtering the paint out with any type of debris that might be in there. So, I mean, it's clean, but it's just a safety precaution. And as soon as this is done, I will start the spraying. So here I'm spraying the doors, one of the doors for final coat. And then I'll be moving on to some of the molding, and then the front facade for the cabinet. So here it is right here. So just giving it a final coat here. And the last thing I'll do is spray the cabinet tops. So to get a really clear finish here, you basically want to go vertically and then a final sweep horizontally, so everything blends in really well. And you'll see that shortly here. And I just let it dry for 24 hours and you're all set. All right, I'm gonna do a quick video. This is one of the tops for the cabinets. There's some more of the trim. Let me come around here. So here's some more of the trim. Working on the LED lighting. I'm gonna be doing the wiring, finishing that up probably tomorrow and Sunday. What I wanted to show you is the doors. So the doors are all done. They're all painted. So came out really nice. There's just one I got to touch up. And here's the other one. Right over here. I got to touch it up. I got to do that tomorrow. So those are the 8 doors. This I'm going to have to do tomorrow. I couldn't move the other one, so this is going to be done tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to do a quick video. Got the LED lights on. Today is Thursday. Monday we're going to do the installation. I got 2 of my friends to help me out. Customer came today, signed off on everything, so we're good to go. I got a few touch-ups to do on some of these items here, but basically we are pretty much done. Oh, and also she had dropped off the doorknob, so I got to put those all on the no, you walk over here onto the doors here. I'll have to do those. But everything else is secure. You got the wiring harness up on top. This is the receiver. I got to secure that, so when you use the control unit, you can turn both the LED lightings on both units on each side, so you don't need 2 controllers. And then I just want to show the wire harness, how I secured that. These clips work really well, and I just throw a hole here. And once it's in place, you know, that'll never move. So that's it. Like I said, just a couple touch-ups, and then just get all my equipment, make up my list, put a plan together, and then we're ready to go. Oh, over there, those are some of the moldings that are going to go on the unit. And here's the other base cabinet. So this is Sunday, the day before we do the installation. Rick and I are bringing everything up from the basement, and we're going to store it all in his trailer. So this went fairly quickly. We got everything loaded and everything, with the tools and everything. It took us about 2 hours. So here we are. We're at the customer site. This is where the wall units are going to go. Rick is getting ready to mark where the studs are, where he can secure the wall unit to. And this is a close-up of the wall there. And a bunch of this stuff is time-lapse. We're actually going through. So this is Monday. We're doing the base cabinets on both sides. What you're seeing right there is we're securing the base. Those are 2x6s. And then the base cabinets will sit on top of that. So the idea, if we were to get this done, along with putting the top on, that'd be good for one day. The one thing that slowed us down a little bit is we had 3 plugs that we had to cut out. It's just very tedious, and Rick was doing all that work while I was able to do some of the other stuff. And here we go. We're basically tying things up, squaring them, just measuring so everything looks well with the molding.
The one thing that was irregular is the stonework, you know, so some of the stone is not like a flat wall. So you got to make sure you position the cabinet so it looks good. So moving on to day number 2, I had another friend come out and help us out, Steve. He's going to help us with the upper section because those things are so heavy to lift. So between the three of us, and there's more than enough work in a day for us to button everything up, and we like to finish by the end of the day. And here's some still shots instead of the the time lapse videos, and you can see how things are coming together. This is the other side. We're just the base, and we're getting ready to. All right, I'm going back to the time lapse. So as you can see, we're fairly busy. So basically, Steve and Rick were working on one side, and I was doing the wiring harness, getting everything set up. We're testing everything out, and now it's just going out, cutting the moldings, securing the upper section, not only to itself but also to the back wall, so everything is secure. Not that anyone would pull this down, but you just want to make sure this is absolutely secure. And here we are. We're pretty much wrapping up at this point here. Rick's got a few odds and ends, and I'm starting to clean, and Steve's cleaning up outside in the garage, our tools and everything. Okay, we are done. Tomorrow I got to come. I got to touch up the paint, put the doors on, but trim everything is all set. Let me see if I can get up here closer. You can see how everything is. Low battery, great. I come over here. I'll make some more video tomorrow, and I'll come back, and the customer's gonna let me come back and she got everything all decorated. So this is their great room right here. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, put the doors on. Last thing I do is some touch up, but everything is all set. Customer's very happy. Get a close up here. Open this up here. Pretty, just like 24 inches deep. Got the soft close. Total height is, I think it's 98 or 100 inches. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks to these two guys, Rick and Steve, for helping me out with the installation. There's absolutely no way I could have gotten this done without their help. It was just way too much work in the 2 days to get this all done. And really appreciate the time that they took out of their day to help me out with this installation.
Well, you made it through the entire video. Thank you. If you could do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe, I'd very much appreciate that. And leave a comment. Let me know what you liked about the project and also on the video, so I can improve on the next one that I produce. Thank you so much. Bye.